Have you ever wished there was a magical way to make all your dreams come true? Well, what if I told you there is? It's not a magic wand or a genie in a bottle, but it's something even more powerful. It's called Neville Goddard's law of attraction. This amazing idea has the power to completely change your life by helping you become the person you've always wanted to be. Imagine being able to shape your own reality, to create the life you've always dreamed of, just by changing the way you think and feel. It might sound too good to be true, but countless people have used this method to transform their lives. And you can too. Neville Goddard was a spiritual teacher who lived in the 20th century, and he discovered something incredible about how our minds work. He found out that our imagination is not just for daydreaming or making up stories, it's actually a powerful tool that can shape our real lives. Think about it. Everything around us, from the chair you're sitting on to the phone or computer you're using to watch this video, started as an idea in someone's mind. Goddard's law of attraction takes this idea even further. It says that by using our imagination in a specific way, we can actually bring our desires into reality. But here's the really exciting part. This isn't just about getting stuff or achieving goals. It's about becoming the person you want to be. Maybe you've always wanted to be more confident, or kinder, or more successful. Maybe you've dreamed of being an artist, or a business owner, or a great parent. Goddard's teachings show us that we can become these things by first imagining ourselves as already being them. It's like trying on a new identity in your mind, and then watching as your real life starts to match that image. Now you might be thinking, this sounds great, but what if it doesn't work for me? Well, here's the thing. If you don't change how you think about yourself and your life, nothing else will change either. It's like trying to drive a car without turning on the engine. You're not going to get very far. The truth is, many of us are stuck in patterns of negative thinking without even realizing it. We tell ourselves things like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to do that, or things never work out for me. And guess what? When we think like that, we're actually making those things come true. But if you learn to use Goddard's law of attraction, everything could change. Instead of being stuck in the same old patterns, you could start seeing amazing new opportunities and experiences come into your life. You could finally break free from the limits you've put on yourself and start living the life you've always dreamed of. And the best part is, it all starts with something you already have, your own mind. Think about it this way. Every day, you're creating your future with your thoughts and beliefs. If you keep thinking the same old thoughts, you'll keep getting the same old results. But if you start thinking in a new way, imagining new possibilities for yourself, you'll start to see new results in your life. It's like planting seeds in a garden. If you plant the same seeds every year, you'll get the same flowers. But if you plant new seeds, you'll get a whole new garden. So who was Neville Goddard, and what exactly is his law of attraction? Let's break it down in simple terms. Neville Goddard was born in 1905 in Barbados and later moved to the United States. He became famous for his lectures and books about the power of the human mind to create reality. But don't worry, you don't need to be a scholar or a genius to understand his ideas. In fact, one of the best things about Goddard's teachings is how simple and practical they are. The basic idea of Goddard's law of attraction is this: your imagination creates your reality. It's not just about positive thinking or wishing for good things to happen. It's about actually seeing yourself as already having or being what you want, and feeling the emotions that go along with that. Goddard taught that our outer world is a reflection of our inner thoughts and feelings. So if we want to change our lives, we need to change what's going on inside our minds first. Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine your mind is like a movie projector and your life is the screen. Whatever movie you play in your mind will show up on the screen of your life. If you keep playing a movie where you're struggling or unhappy, that's what you'll see in your real life. But if you start playing a movie where you're successful, happy, and living your dreams, your real life will start to match that movie. Now you might be thinking, but I've imagined good things before and they didn't happen. That's where Goddard's teachings go deeper than just positive thinking or daydreaming. He taught specific techniques for using your imagination in a way that actually changes your reality. It's not about just thinking happy thoughts. It's about truly feeling and believing in what you're imagining. One of the key things Goddard taught is that you need to imagine from the end result. This means instead of focusing on wanting something or trying to get something, you imagine that you already have it. For example, if you want a new job, instead of thinking, I hope I get that job, you would imagine yourself already working in that job, feeling happy and successful. You'd imagine the details, what your office looks like, what you do during your day, how it feels to be in that position. Another important part of Goddard's teachings is the idea that your feelings are crucial. It's not enough to just picture something in your mind. You need to feel the emotions you would feel if it were really happening. This is because your emotions are like fuel for your imagination. When you combine a clear mental image with strong, positive emotions, you create a powerful force for change in your life. Goddard also taught that this process isn't just about getting things or achieving goals. It's about becoming a new version of yourself. He believed that we all have infinite potential, and that by using our imagination, we can tap into that potential and become whoever we want to be. This means that the law of attraction isn't just about attracting stuff into your life. It's about attracting a whole new way of being. One of the most inspiring things about Goddard's teachings is that they empower us to take control of our lives. Instead of feeling like victims of circumstance, we can start to see ourselves as the creators of our own reality. This doesn't mean that everything will always be perfect or that we'll never face challenges. But it does mean that we have the power to shape our experiences and to choose how we respond to what happens in our lives. Goddard's law of attraction also teaches us to pay attention to our thoughts and beliefs. Many of us go through life on autopilot, not really noticing what we're thinking or believing about ourselves and the world. But these thoughts and beliefs are shaping our reality all the time. By becoming more aware of our inner world, we can start to change the patterns that aren't serving us and create new patterns that support our dreams and goals. One of the beautiful things about Goddard's teachings is that they work for all areas of life. Whether you want to improve your relationships, boost your career, enhance your health, or develop spiritually, the law of attraction can help. It's not limited to any one area of life because it's based on the principle that our inner world creates our outer world. Now you might be wondering, is this just about being selfish and getting what I want? Not at all. In fact, Goddard taught that as we align ourselves with our true desires and potential, we naturally become more loving, more generous, and more connected to others. When we're living our best lives, we have more to give to the world around us. It's also important to understand that Goddard's law of attraction isn't about instant gratification or magical thinking. It's a practice that requires patience, persistence, and faith. You're not just trying to change your thoughts, you're actually rewiring your brain and changing deeply held beliefs. This takes time and consistent effort, But the good news is that every time you practice, you're making progress even if you can't see the results right away. One of the most powerful aspects of Goddard's teachings is the idea that we are all connected to a greater power or consciousness. He believed that our individual minds are part of a universal mind, and that by tapping into this universal mind through our imagination, we can access infinite wisdom and possibilities. This adds a spiritual dimension to the law of attraction, making it more than just a self-help technique. It becomes a way of aligning ourselves with the creative power of the universe. As we start to explore Goddard's law of attraction, it's important to approach it with an open mind and a willingness to experiment. This isn't about blindly believing in something, it's about trying it out for yourself and seeing what results you get. Goddard always encouraged his students to test his teachings in their own lives. He believed that personal experience was the best teacher, and that each person needed to discover the truth of these ideas for themselves. One of the great things about Goddard's approach is that it doesn't require any special equipment or expensive courses. All you need is your own mind and imagination. This makes it accessible to everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. Whether you're a student, a busy parent, a retiree, or anyone else, you can start applying these principles right away. As we dive deeper into Goddard's teachings, we'll explore specific techniques and practices that you can use to apply the law of attraction in your own life. We'll look at how to use visualization effectively, how to work with your emotions, and how to overcome common obstacles that might come up along the way. But for now, the most important thing is to start becoming aware of your thoughts and feelings, and to open yourself up to the possibility that you have more power to shape your life than you might have realized. Remember, the law of attraction isn't about forcing things to happen or controlling every aspect of your life. It's about aligning yourself with your deepest desires and trusting in the process of life. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and allowing your outer world to reflect that inner transformation. As you begin to work with these ideas, you might be surprised at how your perspective starts to shift and how new opportunities begin to appear in your life. One of the most exciting things about exploring Goddard's law of attraction is that it can lead to a whole new way of understanding yourself and the world around you. Many people who work with these ideas report feeling more connected, more inspired, and more alive. They often find that they start to see opportunities where before they only saw obstacles, and that they feel more empowered to pursue their dreams and goals. It's also worth noting that while Goddard's teachings are powerful, they're not meant to replace practical action or common sense. The law of attraction works best when it's combined with inspired action, taking steps in the real world to move towards your goals. It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to magically appear. Instead, it's about aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with your desires. As we continue to explore Goddard's law of attraction, we'll look at how to apply these principles in specific areas of life, such as relationships, career, health, and personal growth. We'll also address some of the common questions and concerns that people often have when they first encounter these ideas. But for now, the most important thing is to stay open and curious, and to be willing to explore these concepts for yourself. In the next section, we'll dive into the first key principle of Goddard's teachings, the power of imagination. We'll look at how our imagination shapes our reality in ways we might not even realize, and we'll explore some simple exercises you can use to start harnessing the power of your own imagination. So get ready to unlock the incredible potential that's been inside you all along. Imagine if you had a magic wand that could change your life. Well, guess what? You do. It's your imagination. Neville Goddard taught that our imagination is the most powerful tool we have for creating the life we want. But how does this work? Let's break it down in simple terms. Your imagination is like a preview of coming attractions in your life. When you imagine something vividly, your brain doesn't really know the difference between what you're imagining and what's really happening. That's why when you imagine biting into a juicy lemon, your mouth might start to water. Your body responds as if it's real. The same thing happens when you imagine yourself living the life you want. Your brain starts to believe it's real, and that belief changes how you think, feel, and act. For example, if you imagine yourself as a confident public speaker, you might start standing taller, speaking more clearly, and feeling more at ease in front of people. These small changes can lead to big results in your real life. But here's the really cool part. Your imagination doesn't just change you, it can actually change the world around you. How? Well, when you start to see yourself differently, you start to notice different opportunities. You might suddenly see a chance to speak at a local event, or you might feel brave enough to volunteer for a presentation at work. These opportunities were always there, but now you're ready to see them and take advantage of them. Goddard taught that your imagination is actually creating your reality all the time, whether you realize it or not. The things you often think about, the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you can do, these are all shaping your world. So why not use this power consciously to create the life you want? Here's a simple way to start using your imagination more powerfully. Take a few minutes each day to close your eyes and really imagine yourself living your dream life. Use all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? How does it feel? The more real you can make it in your mind, the more power it has to change your life. Remember, your imagination is not just for daydreaming or escaping reality. It's a tool for creating your reality. So start using it deliberately and watch how your life begins to change. Now that we understand the power of imagination, let's talk about something that makes it even more powerful: feelings. Neville Goddard said that feeling is the secret to making your imagination work for you. But what did he mean by that? Think about a time when you were really excited about something. Maybe it was a vacation you were looking forward to, or a gift you were about to receive. Remember how real it felt, even before it happened. That's because when we combine strong feelings with our imagination, it becomes much more powerful. Goddard taught that it's not enough to just picture what you want in your mind. You need to feel as if you already have it. This might sound strange at first. How can you feel like you have something when you don't have it yet? But this is where the real magic happens. When you can create the feeling of already having what you want, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you're vividly imagining. So when you feel the joy, excitement, or satisfaction of having your desire, your subconscious mind starts to believe it's real. And here's the amazing part. When your subconscious believes something is real, it starts to work on making it real in your outer world. It's like your subconscious becomes your personal assistant, looking for ways to make your imagined reality come true. So how do you do this? Let's say you want a new job. Instead of just picturing yourself in the new office, try to really feel what it would be like. Feel the satisfaction of doing work you love. Feel the pride of earning a good salary. Feel the happiness of enjoying your workday. The more real you can make these feelings, the more powerful the effect will be. Goddard suggested practicing this feeling state as often as you can. He said it's like planting a seed. You plant the seed by imagining and feeling your desire as real, and then you water it by returning to that feeling state regularly. Here's a simple exercise to practice this. Before you go to sleep at night, imagine a scene that would happen if your desire were already true. Maybe it's someone congratulating you on your new job, or you looking at your bank account and seeing a large balance. Really feel the joy and satisfaction of that moment. Fall asleep with those feelings. This is a powerful time to impress your subconscious mind. Remember, the key is to make it feel as real as possible. Don't worry if it seems hard at first. Like any skill, it gets easier with practice, and the results can be amazing. Many people who use this technique report that opportunities start showing up in their lives, sometimes in unexpected ways. Feeling is indeed the secret. When you can combine clear imagination with positive feelings, you're using one of the most powerful forces in the universe, your own mind. Now that we understand the power of imagination and the importance of feeling, let's talk about another key concept in Neville Goddard's teachings: living from the end. This idea might sound a bit strange at first, but it's actually quite simple and incredibly powerful. Living from the end means thinking, feeling, and acting as if your desire has already come true. Instead of seeing your goal as something in the future that you're trying to reach, you imagine that you've already reached it. You live your life from the perspective of already being the person you want to be, having what you want to have, and doing what you want to do. Why is this so important? Well, Goddard taught that the outer world is a reflection of our inner world. So if we're always thinking of our desires as something in the future, they'll always stay in the future. But if we can shift our mindset to feeling that we already have what we want, we start to align our inner world with that reality. And when our inner world changes, our outer world has to change to match it. Here's an example to make this clearer. Let's say you want to become a successful business owner. Instead of constantly thinking, I hope I can start a successful business someday, you would start thinking and feeling as if you already are a successful business owner. How would a successful business owner think? How would they make decisions? How would they carry themselves? You might start organizing your day like a successful business owner would. You might start dressing the part. You might start networking with other business owners, not as someone hoping to be like them someday, but as a peer. You're not pretending or being fake. You're aligning yourself with the version of you that already exists in your imagination. This might feel uncomfortable at first. You might hear a voice in your head saying, "But I'm not really a successful business owner yet." That's okay. Remember, you're working with your imagination here. You're creating a new reality in your mind first, knowing that your outer world will catch up. Living from the end also helps you avoid the trap of constantly seeking and never finding. When you're always looking for something, you're telling the universe that you don't have it. But when you live as if you already have it, you open yourself up to receiving it. Here's a practical way to start living from the end. Choose one area of your life where you want to see a change. It could be your career, your relationships, your health, or anything else. Now take a few minutes each day to really imagine and feel what it would be like if that change had already happened. How would you think? How would you feel? What would you do differently? Then start bringing those thoughts, feelings, and actions into your daily life. If you've imagined yourself as more confident, start acting more confidently today. If you've imagined yourself as healthier, start making healthier choices today. You're not waiting for the change to happen. You're being the change right now. Remember, this isn't about denying your current reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about choosing to align yourself with your desired reality, knowing that this alignment is the fastest way to bring that reality into your experience. Living from the end takes practice, but it can be incredibly powerful. As you do this, you might start to notice small changes in your life. Opportunities might appear that align with your imagined reality. You might find yourself naturally taking actions that move you towards your goals. This is the power of living from the end in action. When it comes to using Neville Goddard's law of attraction, two things are super important: persistence and faith. These might sound simple, but they can make all the difference in your success. Let's talk about persistence first. Changing your life isn't something that happens overnight. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the plant pop up right away, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Under the surface, big changes are taking place. The same is true when you're using your imagination to create changes in your life. Goddard taught that we need to keep imagining and feeling our desire even when we can't see any results yet. This can be hard sometimes. You might feel like giving up or thinking it's not working. But this is exactly when persistence becomes so important. Think about it like this. Every time you imagine your desire and feel it as real, you're sending out a signal to the universe. The more you do this, the stronger the signal gets. If you give up too soon, it's like turning off the signal before it has a chance to be received. Now let's talk about faith. Faith doesn't mean blind belief. In Goddard's teachings, faith means trusting in your imaginal acts. It means believing in the power of your imagination to create real changes in your life. This kind of faith can be challenging because we're often taught to only believe in what we can see with our physical eyes. But remember, everything in the physical world started as an idea in someone's mind. Your job is to hold on to your vision, even when the outside world doesn't show any evidence of it yet. Here's a tip to help you stay persistent and keep your faith strong. Keep a manifestation journal. Write down your imaginal acts, how they made you feel, and any small signs of change you notice in your life. This can help you see progress you might otherwise miss. Remember, persistence and faith work together. Your persistence shows your faith, and your faith gives you the strength to persist. Together, they create a powerful force for change in your life. Now that we've covered the main ideas, let's talk about a practical technique you can use to apply Neville Goddard's teachings in your life. This is a simple visualization exercise that you can do every day. First, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Get comfortable and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths to relax your body and mind. Now think about something you want to create in your life. It could be anything: a new job, a loving relationship, better health, or whatever is important to you. Next, create a scene in your mind that would happen if your desire had already come true. Make it a short, clear scene. For example, if you want a new job, you might imagine shaking hands with your new boss and feeling excited about your first day. As you imagine this scene, use all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? Can you feel anything, like the texture of clothes or a handshake? Can you smell anything? The more senses you involve, the more real it will feel. Most importantly, feel the emotions you would feel if this were really happening. Feel the joy, the excitement, the satisfaction. Let these feelings fill your body. Hold this scene and these feelings for a few minutes. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your scene. When you're done, take a deep breath and open your eyes. Try to carry the feeling of your imagined scene with you as you go about your day. Do this exercise every day, preferably right before you go to sleep at night and just after you wake up in the morning. These are times when your subconscious mind is most receptive. Remember, the key is to make it feel as real as possible and to do it consistently. With practice, you'll find it gets easier and more powerful. As you start using Neville Goddard's techniques, you might run into some challenges. Don't worry, this is normal. Let's talk about some common obstacles and how to overcome them. One common challenge is doubt. You might find yourself thinking, is this really going to work? Or am I just fooling myself? When these thoughts come up, remember that doubt is natural. Instead of fighting it, acknowledge it and then gently return your focus to your imaginal scene. Over time, as you start seeing results, your doubt will naturally decrease. Another obstacle is impatience. We often want to see results right away, but change doesn't always happen overnight. When you feel impatient, remind yourself that changes are happening, even if you can't see them yet. Focus on enjoying the process of imagining and feeling your desire, rather than anxiously waiting for results. You might also face negative comments from others who don't understand what you're doing. Remember, you don't need to explain or justify your practices to anyone. Keep your imaginal acts private if that feels right to you. Sometimes, life circumstances might seem to contradict what you're imagining. For example, if you're imagining financial abundance but you lose your job, it might be hard to keep faith. In these moments, Goddard taught to persist even more in your imaginal acts. Trust that what's happening is part of the bridge of events leading to your desire. Remember, every obstacle is an opportunity to strengthen your practice. Each time you overcome doubt, impatience, or contradictory circumstances, you're building your power to create the life you want. We've covered a lot in this video about Neville Goddard's law of attraction. We've learned about the power of imagination, the importance of feeling, living from the end, and the need for persistence and faith. We've also explored a practical visualization technique and how to overcome common obstacles. Remember, the core of Goddard's teaching is that your imagination creates your reality. By consciously using your imagination and aligning your thoughts and feelings with your desires, you can transform your life in amazing ways. This isn't about magical thinking or ignoring reality. It's about understanding the incredible power of your own mind and learning to use it deliberately to shape your life experiences. As you start applying these ideas, be patient with yourself. Like any skill, this takes practice. You might not see results immediately, but if you persist, you'll likely start noticing positive changes in your life. Remember, you're not just trying to get things or achieve goals. You're becoming a new version of yourself, the version that already has and is everything you desire. This process can be deeply transformative and rewarding. I encourage you to start using these techniques in your daily life. Try the visualization exercise we discussed. Start living from the end in small ways. Pay attention to your feelings and use them as a guide. Your imagination is a powerful tool for creating the life you want. It's time to start using it consciously and deliberately. Who knows what amazing things you might create? Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Neville Goddard's law of attraction. I hope you found it helpful and inspiring. Remember, the power to change your life is within you, in your own wonderful imagination. Use it wisely and watch your world transform. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're applying these ideas in your life. Until next time, keep imagining, keep believing, and keep creating the life of your dreams.